Hello guys, welcome to the Superwatch channel. Today's video, we'll go through the top Grand Seiko watches you can buy this year. I've included links in the description below for further information on the goods. Let us begin without further ado. Number 1. Grand Seiko Snowflake SBGA 211. This watch is the Grand Seiko Snowflake SBGA 211. Released globally in 2010, the Snowflake textured dial became an instant fan favorite and is the brand's most recognizable watch to date. The Snowflake dial shows how fresh the snow is around the Shinshu watch studio, which makes quartz and spring drive movements for Grand Seiko. The 41mm high-intensity titanium case is hand-polished to a mirror-like sheen, known as Zaratsu by the brand. The Zaratsu technique takes 3 years to learn and is meant to help the watch reflect light accurately. The movement inside this watch is either the icing on the cake or the main course. The Grand Seiko 9R65 spring drive movement utilizes mechanical, magnetic, and electrical energy, making it neither a quartz nor a mechanical watch. The result is a sole watch with a truly sweeping second hand, as opposed to a mechanical watch that gives the appearance of sweeping by beating many times per second. It actually glides. The Grand Seiko Snowflake is one of the most inventive and aesthetically pleasing watches in this price category, if not all watchmaking. Number 2. Grand Seiko Cherry Blossom SBGA 413. As part of the GS Legacy Collection and a sibling to the Snowflake, the dial depicts sakura blossom leaves that have fallen into the water during Japan's brief sakura spring equinox season. The tint of the pink dial varies according to the lighting. Typically, it appears neutral, more silver than pink. Under direct sunlight, though, the pink begins to emerge, but never in an oversaturated manner. The dial is highlighted by the absence of a bezel on the case. Regarding this, the titanium casing is exquisitely completed with Grand Seiko's Zaratsu. Deep brushed textures contrast well with the dial to constantly reflect light and attract your eye. Inside is Seiko's 9R65 spring drive movement, which is accurate to ±1 second every day and exquisitely adorned. The watch is usable on any wrist, despite having a somewhat modest diameter of 40mm. Its dial provides ample wrist presence, and at just 3.599 grams, including the featherweight titanium bracelet, you won't even realize you're wearing it. The Grand Seiko Cherry Blossom SBGA 413 may not be as iconic as the Snowflake, but among Grand Seiko enthusiasts, it is the watch of choice. If you ever attend a GS meetup, this is likely the watch on the majority of attendees' wrists. Number 3. Grand Seiko Divert SBGA 463. The Rolex Submariner is one of the most popular and sought-after sports watches in the world. Although you may have the cash on hand and an insatiable craving for the iconic Swiss diver, a Rolex dealer will place you on a waitlist for an endless amount of time. You might be more interested in a polished, purpose-built diver with some important improvements than in the idea of making the supply smaller. If you're looking for a dive watch, look no further than the SBGA 463. Grand Seiko clearly cared about creating a dive watch that was easy to read and durable, as seen by its adherence to the ISO 6425-2018 standard. With a crown that screws down, anti-magnetic properties, and the ability to go down to 200 meters. With a brush can set and luminous hour markers surrounded by mirror-polished indexes, the dial is easily readable. Elegant in its own right, it's less plain in appearance than its Swiss analog. Brushed and Zaratsu mirror finishes are used on the casing, which may seem like an unusual choice for a tool watch that would inevitably be scratched up. The titanium case, on the other hand, is said to be 30% lighter and scratch-resistant than its stainless steel counterparts. The bracelet can be adjusted in size on the fly with the use of a titanium dive extension clasp. The addition of the internal spring drive mechanism is the icing on the cake. Number 4. Grand Seiko White Birch SLGA 005. Inspired by the white birch trees that grow close to Grand Seiko's headquarters in Shizukuishi, Japan, the dial of the SLGA 005 White Birch has a beautifully rich texture. In honor of the 60th anniversary of the first Grand Seiko, GS used the Evolution 9 design philosophy in the birch, which is both practical and stylish. Grand Seiko's new escapement for the High-Beat 9 SA5 caliber uses a dial impulse that works better than a Swiss lever. This lets Grand Seiko increase the power reserve to 80 hours. The dial is silvery white, and the silver indices don't stand out very much against that background. However, the dial's contrasting brushed and polished surfaces, as well as the highly anti-reflective sapphire crystal, help compensate for this. The water resistance of 100 meters, combined with the sporty adaptability of the case, makes this a great option for daily use. In the sub-$10,000 price range, there is a large selection of timepieces to consider. The Rolex Datejust, which is also a superb watch in its own right, is the most obvious competitor in terms of price. The White Birch dial, however, is more lively and engaging in comparison. Number 5. Grand Seiko Elegance SBGA 231. The SBG 231 is as close to a faultless vintage three-hand dress watch as it is possible to get. Its size, just over 37 millimeters in diameter, is classic and elegant, and the case and dial are all made in the same style. A simple ivory dial sets the tone, allowing the case, handset, and hour markers to speak for themselves. In many ways, this watch's greatness lies in what it excludes rather than what it includes. The hand-wound caliber 9S64 mechanical movement housed within is reported to be buttery smooth and exquisitely adorned. Through the see-through display case rear, it is evident where GS focuses its attention. So that's it for the best Grand Seiko watches of this year. Like, comment, and subscribe to receive the notification of our latest videos.